So you might be asking yourself, and I might read off the slides a little bit because there is a lot of information here. So you might be asking yourself, what is Project Launch? This guy's on the screen. So Project Launch is pretty much Nighthawk's biggest program in the spring semester. If you guys know, in the fall semester, we do a mentorship program. This is a little bit different. We try to get you guys to do group projects. And so pretty much it's a semester-long hackathon. If you want to think about it like that, you guys get until April to work on your projects. You guys get to do teams of up to 6 people, but you could do it by yourself with 2 people, however many people you want. And at the end, if you are the best project, whatever the judges think, you guys get some pretty cool prizes. I do want to note, everybody that wants to participate in Project Launch, not only are you guys going to have to sign up using a registration at the end of this presentation, but you guys are going to want to be on Blade. And if you're not on Blade, you need to be on the Discord to be on Blade. So if you guys want to do that right now and try to like make your account and everything while the meeting transpires, that'd probably be a good idea. And also, you guys are going to have to pay your dues to be on this program. However, I'm giving you guys until March 10th to pay your dues, so pretty much the first checkpoint. If you haven't paid your dues until then, I'll probably give you a warning about like a good week. And then after that, if you guys haven't paid your dues, you'll probably be disqualified. But I don't want to get into that too much. I'm expecting everybody in here to enjoy the program, just so you guys can get like a little feel for it. That's why I'm giving you guys the first month. But yeah, pretty much, if we get straight into it. So what should I expect from Project Launch? So there's 3 main things that I kind of focus on when I did Project Launch last year. So first things first, you guys are going to have a lot of different teams of people all in this room and outside of this room building a lot of cool projects, whether it's the picture that we have here, it's something called Project Artemis. Pretty much it was a bunch of engineers that built a like automated bot that shot a Nerf gun. And it was like a machine gun, and it was super crazy. And there's other different projects that like transpired throughout here, whether it's, somebody like right here at the front of the stage made something that would track down if satellites were going to crash. That type of thing. It's just really, really good long time for you guys to make projects between each other, just like as a group. And I think it's a really good learning experience, which is pretty much what I talked about here. It's just like, putting something on your resume, being able to gain a lot of different skills and learning about different things. Also, we do offer mentorship and lab hours for Project Launch. So I'll get into it a little bit more later, but we do have some set mentors, which all have different like arrays of skills that you guys can reach out to regarding your projects for help or anything. And we have a lab weekly that you guys can come in, work together in, and pretty much ask the mentors for help, or just kind of have a place for you guys to sit down and do your projects, apart from, trying to get a reservation in a study room, which doesn't really work. And then finally, there's like the prizes as well. So we're going to have a prize for each monthly checkpoint, which I'll get into a little bit more later. And that's pretty much for who's made the best progress so far. And then at the end, you guys are going to have an expo where you pretty much are going to show off your project to not only the public, but also a lot of judges. And if you come out on top, we're going to give the top 3 projects of the entire program some really cool prizes. And that's pretty much what you should expect. If we get a little bit more into it, we do have some requirements for Project Launch, and I'll just kind of go through this. So first things first, Project Launch teams can be anywhere from 1 to 6 people, and each team must have a team lead. If you want to think about it as a project manager, you can. But I don't really like calling it that. It's pretty much who's held accountable for the team. So like, if I reach out to you and be like, hey guys, are you guys coming to the checkpoint? I'm going to reach out to the team lead first, that type of thing. And I'll get into how to become a team lead later on. Teams cannot begin work until today. So if I catch any of you guys working on a GitHub repo that was made before today, you are not winning a prize. So if anything, just make a new repo. Anyway, all applicants must apply through the form provided at the end of the presentation, and the deadline to apply to this program is the 15th of February. That gives you guys a good amount of time to sign up and a good amount of time for me to kind of set up everything before the first checkpoint and everything kind of transpires. After applying, you guys are going to get into groups if you want to, and then create a project for that team. And then pretty much we're going to have different Discord threads in our actual Discord server, which I have the QR code for there if you guys need it in the last slide. But pretty much you guys are going to pretty much make these threads with your project of what it is and exactly how many team members are in there, how many people you're looking to get in, who's in that project, and kind of that whole thing. And that's kind of how I'm making you guys be counted as a team. So when you guys do make your teams and make your projects, please make sure to put that on the Discord thread. I'll get into that a little bit more as well later. As far as checkpoints go, I'll also get into them a little bit more later, but each checkpoint is pretty much so that we can check how you guys are doing throughout with your projects, kind of like a flagpole if you think about it. Like we're just gonna check your progress, and then obviously the person who has the best progress is kind of gonna get a little prize. Apart from that, as far as checkpoints go, please make sure that at least one person shows up in person. I'll explain a little bit of how to schedule and how to show up on those checkpoints a little bit more. And then also, as far as submissions go, they'll be doing on a dev post, kind of like a normal hackathon, and you're going to submit your project through there, regardless of if it's something that's kind of more physical, like the project that I talked about earlier. Just make sure that you have something on dev post that explains where your project is, so that we can kind of go through and check it. And finally, the dev post is going to open on April 9th, right during the second checkpoint, which is pretty much going to be like the last week that you guys get to work on the project until the expo, which is on April 14th, 15th, I don't know. I'll get into that more later. Important note, I just wanted to put it a little bit more there just in case I didn't mention it already. I'm going to get a little bit annoying about it. I'm sorry about that. So yeah, everybody does want to be a dues paying member. And if you guys don't have your dues paid, as I said earlier, you're going to get a warning like right before the first checkpoint. If you haven't paid your dues by the first checkpoint, that person is going to get disqualified from winning prizes and like the program. You guys can still work on your project. It's just we want it to be, you know, kind of like more exclusive to the actual people that are playing the club, because that's kind of how we operate. But yeah, that's the kind of hard requirements of the program. Let's get into a little bit more of like the actual fun stuff. So these are some of the past winners of Project Launch. So this was last year. We had 3 really cool projects. I have the QR codes for their dev posts here. That's kind of why we do it, so you guys can look back on it. So for our third place, we had a really cool Unity-based 1v1 fighter, which is pretty much based on dancing, which I thought was really cool. We also had Orbit AI, which is kind of what I talked about earlier, that it predicted like where satellites were going so that they wouldn't crash together. And then self-promo, my project, which is called Kmoto, which is pretty much like an all-in-one full-stack platform that handled pretty much everything for hackathons. So like sponsorships, organizing, actually signing up, etc. I just put this here so you guys can see a little bit of the examples of what people build. These are all very, very well thought out, like repos with like maybe 200-300 commits that people worked on for like the entirety of spring, right? So you guys can see it's like it's not like a hackathon to where like you just kind of put something together and it like half works. These are projects that are actually going to be very well versed, and you guys can definitely discuss a lot more in like interviews and your resume and everything. I had a voice crack. These are the mentors that we have. So who are the mentors and how can I reach them? So Project Launch is going to have a lot of different mentors, which are all on the screen right now. And every mentor is pretty much going to have an introduction onto the Discord. When you guys do apply, you're going to see that. Kind of explaining the different skills. So like there's a lot of different people, a lot of different skill sets here. So like Natalia knows a lot about robotics, or like Dylan knows a lot about like systems and like machine learning and stuff like that. I don't know anything about that. But if your project does have to do with that, that's who you would reach out to. So that's kind of how we do it that way. Also, the mentors are unassigned, meaning that you guys can reach out to any of these mentors whenever you want. Obviously, you can send them a Discord message. You can find them in the lab hours. You can find them by going up to their house. However you guys have to get there, pretty much just to reach out for help. We're here to help you guys. And I'm also one of the mentors. Also, one final note. On the actual final expo day, these are not going to be the people that are going to be judging you. So don't try to like become friendly with everyone so that you can win the whole thing. That's not going to work, but they are going to be checking you guys for the checkpoints. So maybe a little bit. So that's the mentors. We also have project leads, and that's kind of how I mentioned about it earlier. So each project is going to have a project lead, which is pretty much going to be the person that has full accountability for the project. So pretty much as far as the actual application goes, the Discord thread, the submission of the project, who's going to actually schedule every single time that you guys show up to the checkpoints, that type of thing. As well as kind of how I mentioned earlier, if you're looking to be a project lead, all you have to do is going to be making your actual Discord thread relating to your project. I'll show that off a little bit more later. And obviously do this by the 15th of February as well, kind of to get your project in play so I can register you guys all as a team. If you don't make that deadline, let me know. Oh yeah, and I didn't mention that. If you guys have any other questions or anything regarding the program, you guys can always hit me. My Discord is just going to be Daniel on the actual server. And you can also hit mentorship@nighthacks.org, the email. You guys can just ask me about anything regarding them. If you guys can't make it to a checkpoint or anything like that, it shouldn't be that much of a problem. Just let me know beforehand. For the project lead and for the project thread, make sure that whoever makes this actual thread, which will be the lead, make sure that you guys know every single person in that team, because that's how I'm going to kind of register you guys as to being in what part of team. So like, let's just say last year my project lead was Carlos. He's over there. So Carlos is the project lead, and he's going to make his Discord thread and put me and put Adrian and put Kai and put all these different people, so that when the deadline hits and I look in there and I say, okay, oh shit, Dylan's on this team. That's kind of how I'm going to put that together. So please make sure that everybody's on that actual thread. And also, if you're looking for any new members, you can also put that on there as well. So like maybe some team only wants 4 people total. You guys can put that as well. As a final note, if anything is needed from a team, I will always be contacting the team lead first. And as a general note, if you guys have to switch team leads, just let me know. That shouldn't really be a problem either. But obviously there's going to be like situations where people are going to like become more busy as the semester goes on and everything like that. So I don't want that to become a problem. Just let me know if anything like that comes up. That's as far as project leads go. As far as the Discord, which I've mentioned like 85 million times. So the Discord has a special section dedicated to project launch, which you will gain access to after you sign up through the QR that I'm going to put at the end of the presentation. And there's going to be 3 different roles that you can look out for any other member in the actual Discord. So there's going to be 2026 Project Launcher, which is pretty much just any member, most of the people that are going to be in this room. There's going to be Project Lead, so that I can reach out to all the leads all at once. So whenever somebody puts up a project thread, I'll give them the lead role, and then they'll gain access to the Project Leads channel. And then I also have Project Launch Mentor, which is just going to be a role so that you guys can look for all the different mentors that I mentioned earlier. There's also the Project Board, which is what I've been alluding at, is where all the project leads must put their projects in their thread regarding their projects. So again, try to include, or please include, your main project idea, like kind of how it's going to go, your tech stack, your team's capacity, if you're willing to take in new members, and most importantly, every single member of that team. And please put their full name so that I know exactly who it is. Don't just put Daniel. There's like 85 million Daniels in this club. Finally, the project help thread is pretty much where you're going to be able to put up any type of questions or any concerns that you have regarding your project. And mentors are going to go in there periodically and check that out and try to answer questions for you. So like, let's just say, I don't know, I'm building something in C and I get a seg fault. I'm going to put that up in the actual project help thread, and some mentor is going to come help me up. Or even like normal members will probably hit you up too, just to try and help out. Everybody helps out around here. But that's as far as the Discord. There's also the announcements thing, but like I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory. But yeah, make sure that you guys are in the Discord, and if you need the QR code, let me know at the end. That's it for that. This is the actual timeline for the entire project launch program. So today's February. What day is it today? Whatever. So today is the actual kickoff, and we have 3 other major events, and we have something else which I'll talk about a little bit more later. So we have our first checkpoint, which is on March 10th. That's the one that I'm going to be checking off if projects are still going to be like qualified. So if you guys don't show up to the first checkpoint, I'm not going to be counting your project as to be in the running anymore. So definitely try to have at least one person come to that checkpoint. We also have another checkpoint in April 9th. They're both going to be in the same room as well. And then as far as the expo, that's on April 17th, and that's going to be in the actual engineering atrium. If you guys have ever seen like those senior design like expositions, it's pretty much the same thing. We're going to have a lot of tables like set up, and people are going to be able to ask about your project. And I'll get into it a little bit more later. So we also have the actual lab, which I mentioned earlier. So every Friday from 1 to 6 at BA2 208, starting this Friday, by the way, you guys can come in to this room. We have it reserved so you guys can work on it. And it's pretty much a collab space. So we have a lot of different whiteboards and a lot of different people in there that are going to be able to help you. And it's pretty much just a space for you guys to get down, work on your projects, or just chill, honestly. Like I would just go to the lab last year a lot to just do my homework. So you guys can also come for that as well. And attendance is not mandatory. This is just an optional thing if you guys want to have a place to get together between your team and be able to make something happen. And obviously not all of them, but we'll definitely have at least one mentor in there at all times so that you guys are able to ask them questions. But that's typically where you'll find them. And if you want to set up like a time to meet with Lewin, for example, about like some certain thing, you can definitely tell them to just pull up to the lab. Finally, in order to get late attendance for the lab, so if you guys just want to get your attendance for the points, you are going to have to be a dues paying member. I'm not restricting the dues paying members to be in the program until checkpoint 1, but for the attendance thing, it is going to be, you need to be a dues paying member. So that's just it for that. Checkpoint 1, that's the one that I keep mentioning because it's honestly like a big milestone for the entire event. This is pretty much like your first flag for the actual program. So pretty much every team or team lead is going to schedule one 30-minute block with whatever mentor that you choose, anywhere from 5:30 to 8:30 in this room. And so pretty much how that's going to work is every single team is going to get the chance to choose any time that would work best for them between this time. So like let's just say only one of my team members is available on Friday, and they can come at 7 p.m. So you guys just schedule 7 p.m. and you show up for that 30-minute time frame, and it's going to be pretty chill. It's just going to be a mentor of your choosing, going to be asking you a couple questions regarding like the progress of your actual project. So like let's just say we sit down and I look through your project and I'm like, okay, so what have you guys done over the last 4 weeks? What are you guys, some of the things that you guys want to do in the next few weeks, like your goals and everything like that. It's nothing crazy. And then obviously we're going to judge your guys' actual progress just off of like a little rubric that we have. And then whoever has the most progress that we determine, that team will get announced as the winner of checkpoint 1 and also receive a prize, which will be to be announced because I haven't come up with it yet. Finally, important note again, a minimum one representative of each team must show up to the first checkpoint. So please don't forget to show up to the first checkpoint, because if you guys don't come to that, or to the second one for that matter, I will have to disqualify you guys from like running and being in the actual like prize pool. So that's that. Same exact thing for checkpoint 2. This one's just on April 9th, but it's the exact same thing. Just schedule one 30-minute time block with a mentor and do your 30-minute session, and that's pretty much it. One thing that I forgot to mention, after checkpoint 1, what I would recommend for you guys to do is whatever mentor you choose to actually do like your session, I would probably recommend for you guys to just book that mentor again for the checkpoint 2, because they'll already have the conscious mind of what your project is and kind of how long, like how you've come along for that project. So if you guys can book the same person, and they'll also probably be following up with you guys saying, hey, how's the progress going, somewhere in between the first and second checkpoint, just to see how you guys are doing, and if you're going to be ready for the expo, which is right after this. So that's kind of the main point of checkpoint 2, is let's just check how exactly where are you at, and will you have a finished product by the project expo, which you don't need to, by the way, just to check your actual progress. Expo Day is probably the biggest event of project launch. Damn, I wish there was music playing. So this is the biggest day of project launch. It's pretty much where everyone is going to get to actually show off their project and show off the cool stuff that they did. So teams will be assigned one table in the Engineering 2 atrium on April 17th. I don't know the times yet, but expect for it to be somewhere in the afternoon, maybe like 12 to 4. You guys are going to want to have at least one person there showing off your actual project. And pretty much the way that it's going to work is your guys' project is going to be judged not only by our assigned judges, but also by the public. So if you guys want to invite all your friends and family just to come out and see your project and vote for you, that's kind of what I did last year. You guys can do that as well, but you guys are going to be judged based off both of those things. So you guys are pretty much just like a hackathon judging experience. You sit down at a table and you wait for the judges and for people to come through, and you just explain to them what exactly you did. The top 3 teams from this, which get the most points from both the actual public and the judges, are going to be awarded at the end of that expo. So in person, you guys will get that award. I will say those awards in a little bit. The judges' identities will not be disclosed. So again, you never know who you could be talking to. So I would give you guys his best pitch to everybody that you see, which is why I recommend at least have most of your team there so that you guys can be talking to people, multiple people at once, right? But the judges will go through every single team, so don't worry about that. You guys can try and piece it together. That's pretty much it for Expo Day. I will announce the times for that a little bit closer to the actual date. You guys will find out, don't worry, whether it's checkpoint 1, 2, just whenever I have that situated. These are the actual prizes for the program. So the first place of the program, every single person on the team will get a MetaQuest 3. Second place will be AirPods 4th Gen. And third place will be the Lego Minecraft Creeper, which is my favorite word. Yeah, that's pretty much that. That's the prizes, so you guys can get excited about that. Other than that, this is the actual application form. So if you guys want to scan that and actually apply for the program, you guys can feel free to right now. You are going to need a Blade account. So if you guys don't have a Blade account, you're going to have to make one first. It's kind of like a weird process, but it's just how we keep track of everything. Again, in order to actually be a part of the project, you have to make a thread or have your name under a thread. But this is just so I can keep track of the head count of how many people are actually in the program. So make sure to fill this out. by the 15th, and make sure to join a team or make a team by the 15th as well. And make sure to fill everything out correctly. That's pretty much it for that. I'm going to keep that up for like another minute, and then I'll have like some closing remarks, and that's pretty much it. But yeah. I'm not done. I'm not done. What's up? Okay. Finally, if you guys are looking for a project or a team, I would probably say this is the best place to do so apart from the Discord. There's probably about 100 people in here, so you guys can walk around and talk to anybody that you want and kind of explain what you guys might want to do and get together for a team. So that might be a good thing as well.
One thing I want to interject, I recently just went in and I added on the project board, there are now tags for you to say how many people you have,
okay,
if there's
cool.
room in your team, what type of project you're doing. So make sure when you create on the project board and you're looking for a team that you update your tags.
Okay, cool. So yeah, make sure to check the Discord threads after you actually apply, and that's how you guys are gonna put yourselves together as a team. But definitely make sure to come in here and talk to everybody about what you might want to do, kind of try and recruit people. Also, I will be sitting at this table in the front, so if you guys want to come to me with any ideas, I'm more than welcome to kind of help you guys out, figure it out. We'll probably keep the room open for like another hour so you guys can talk to each other and to me about anything that you might need. And obviously, if you ever need advice for anything, you guys can come to me. You guys can come to any of the other mentors too. And that's pretty much that. Go build your teams. Thank you for coming. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know.